fellow citizens of Africa.
These are the words of the man who created an international movement, a mass movement that was even larger than Martin Luther King's civil rights movement. When he moved to Harlem, New York in 1916, membership in his UNIA organization grew to 2 million members in just 2 weeks. And by 1926, membership had exploded to 11 million worldwide. His Negro World newspaper became a worldwide phenomenon, circulating 500,000 copies a week. It carried news significant to black people throughout the globe. His organization was called the Universal Negro Improvement Association, or UNIA. A native of Jamaica and educated in England, this man delivered a simple message. It was time for the 400 million people of African descent, those scattered around the globe, to unite as one and begin to rely not on others, but on themselves. His rallying cries were "Back to Africa" and "One God, one aim, one destiny."
Raising the cry of Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. There are 400 million Africans.
Why was this message needed, and why did so many flock to it? For nearly 400 years, from the 1500s right up to the 1900s, African children, women, and men had been ripped from their homes, chained, and shipped off to become the enslaved property of others, making Europe and the United States wealthy beyond belief. When this 400-year cycle came to a close, European powers tore into the continent of Africa itself, using divide-and-conquer tactics and cruelty to exploit Africa's natural wealth. Scientists in the United States and Europe had been pushing ideas of white superiority for centuries. The people of Africa had been trampled on, and it was time for them to stand up for their rights as humans. After hearing a popular song that made fun of black people for not having a nation, pride, or a flag, this man assigned the colors of red, black, and green to become the banner for black people throughout the world. He started a black-owned steamship corporation called the Black Star Line. It was his answer to the all-white White Star Line. Maybe you've heard of them and their unsinkable flagship, the HMS Titanic. He then raised $1 million, bought buildings in New York City, a fleet of trucks, and opened the Phyllis Wheatley Hotel, all staffed and operated by black people, giving thousands employment and a sense of pride. Thousands packed New York's Madison Square Garden to hear this man proclaim himself provisional president of Africa. Military-style parades attracted thousands who turned out to see the colors of a nation on the rise, a nation that instilled pride, dignity, and self-reliance. It also caught the eye of the United States government as it began to move in on UNIA and its leaders. Feeling that such enthusiastic black pride among black people could lead to a violent revolution, the government spied on this popular leader and employed the first black federal agent to do it. Some even blamed the government when one of the Black Star Line steamers was mysteriously sabotaged. Soon, the U.S. government was able to charge this leader of millions with a crime. No, not plotting a violent revolution, but mail fraud. Yes, misusing the U.S. postal system. He was convicted and sentenced to 5 years. After serving some of that time in prison, this leader was deported from the United States and sent back to his native Jamaica. The movement without this charismatic leader died. But his writings, speakings, and philosophies would live on to influence future leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, Bob Marley, and countless others. Who was this man who led the largest movement of black people the world has ever known?
Black Star